supporters of the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America as well. From IndyCar, on your far left, IndyCar President Doug Bowles. Good morning, Doug.
Being president of IndyCar, I don't always get the claps.
Polite also.
The owners aren't quite as receptive. Thank you.
The order meetings are a little different this year. From IMSA President John Doonan. Good morning, John.
I have 18 automakers to we support one another, Doug and I.
It is also our pleasure to say hello for the first time to Darren Lucas, another certainly familiar face in motorsports, but new to the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America as of January, the new president of the only Hall of Fame for all motorsports. So, Darren, good morning to you as well.
Good morning, and thank you all. I still have a few people from all the NASCAR days that hate me too, so they can probably. There's a few hard cards I've tracked down through the years that are probably still looking for me. But thank you.
That's great. Go ahead.
First, I'd like to thank a couple of folks. I'd like to thank everyone associated with the Acura 303 of Long Beach. I think I saw Chris Luke here earlier. He's one of our former honorees. Thank you. Thank you to our great friends at IndyCar and IMSA. Doug and John. Since I've been here, I've just been fantastic ambassadors for the Motorsports Hall of Fame. And you guys know they actually have day jobs. But lately, they have been great servants of our organization, and I thank them for what they've done. I'd also like to recognize Nick Firestone's here. He's the great-grandson of Harvey Firestone. He's one of our former inductees, so I want to call him out. And Chuck Shifsky's here from Honda. He's one of our board members, and I want to make sure that Chuck was aware that we knew he was here, and thank them for their support this weekend. But as Dave said, the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America is all of motorsports. And it's one of the most enlightening things that I saw when I joined this organization in January. And then through induction in March, the camaraderie from race car drivers and boat racers and aviators, motorcycle riders, the conversations that happen in that world when you get the best of the best together is certainly unique. But to get inducted into this Hall of Fame is a pretty rigorous process. There's 2 formal rounds, there's 200 voters, half of which are former inductees themselves, the other are media or colleagues in the industry. And so if you get in this Hall of Fame, you get in rightly. And it's not like someone like me as a marketer gets to choose who comes in this Hall of Fame. So with that, let's get right to why we're here today. We'll start in open wheel. He's a 4-time IndyCar winner, and as Doug pointed out, has 21 Indy 500 starts, which I think is 11th all time. Should have won it once. Multiple USAC Sprint Car Silver Crown champion, Gary Bettenhausen. In drag racing, 3-time NHRA Top Fuel Funny Car champion, and number 2 all-time in Top Fuel Funny Car wins, Ron Capps. In sports cars, and fun this weekend as well, founder of the successful Dyson Racing, where he won 19 titles and 70 wins. He was also the winning driver in the 1997 Rolex 24 at Daytona, Rob Dyson. In stock cars, he's a 2-time Daytona 500 champion, has more than 100 wins and 4 titles as an owner, and was winner of 15 straight NASCAR Most Popular Driver Awards, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And this has been one of my personal favorites here. In business, the General Motors executive who led GM to 25 manufacturer championships, 11 of them in straight wins, and Corvette wins at Daytona and Le Mans, Herb Fisher. Our historic inductee is a 2-time Indy 500 winning car owner and 3-time second place finisher at the Brickyard, Harry Hartz. And as a pilot myself, this one brought me great joy. In aviation, a 2-time unlimited air racing champion and world speed record holder at 499 miles an hour in the famed Red Baron, no less, Steve Hinton. In motorcycles, he's a three-time NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle Champion and winner of 46 NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle races, Angel Sampay. And Angel is the 12th woman to be nominated into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, I'll point out. Again in stock car, one of NASCAR's most successful engine builders and owners, having won 57 races as an owner and 77 as an engine builder, Robert Yates. And Dave, is that 9 or 10?
By my count, that's 9.
That's
We're
9.
still missing
I
one.
think you're right. And I think we have an extra chair up here because the 10th inductee is actually a surprise today. But I'm not qualified to make the announcement. These two gentlemen beside of me have a lot more experience in this world and with this competitor than I do. And John, I think I'll start with you.
Thank you, Darren. You know the saying, sometimes it's not so good to be one of your heroes? Well, in this case, for me, it was. And she, I think that makes it 13, didn't even know that I was considering her a hero. But in 1985, I was at Road America at the Past 500, and I saw my hero win her first IMSA race. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Lynn St. James.
Let's scoot down one.
Let's get her. So we're not done yet on the IMSA side, and then I'll pass it over to Doug on the open wheel side. So that was race win 1. There were 7 more, including 2 Rolex 24 at Daytona victories, a Mobil 112 Hours of Sebring victory, and she became the first winner of a race on solo. She won at Watkins Glen in one of those monstrous Jack Roush Mustangs. Factory driver for Ford, but someone I consider personally one of my best friends on this planet. And besides what she did in racing, behind the wheel, what she's done for our sport in general, and what she's done for other women to jump on the trail that she blazed. So congratulations, Lynn. And I'll pass it over to my buddy Doug, who has got some more to talk about relative to your career in IndyCar at the Brickyard. So, congrats.
Similar to John. In 1992, Lynn showed up at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I was just 4 years out of school, but a massive Indy 500 fan. And I remembered the days when Janet Guthrie sort of broke through that barrier and ran at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but nobody else had really come with that pomp and circumstance. And in 1992, and Lynn and I have talked about this many times since, I was enamored with the challenge that she had, but the grace with which she brought it, and the racing spirit with which she brought it. She was a race car driver first, a female second. But I probably have literally 100 photos of Lynn St. James, and I stalked her the entire month of May.
Yeah, we need to notify the authorities.
But I so desperately wanted her because it was going to transform our sport. She brought in a partner who was activating. She came in and just brought new fans to our sport. It was so great for our sport, and that was what really captivated me. And to see her make the Indy 500, become the first female Rookie of the Year, and for, you're not going to like this part, but for a long period of time be the oldest person to be our Rookie of the Year until Jimmy Johnson broke that just recently. Which is a really cool thing to have, because you don't expect people in their 40s to become IndyCar drivers, to become successful IndyCar drivers, and to become Rookie of the Year, and it was certainly magical. I often talk about one of the greatest qualifying efforts I've ever seen in my life is one that Lynn stepped into a car that somebody else, a male, could not get up to speed. And she got it up to speed in one practice session, hit the fence on the right side, kept it breathing, and qualified for the Indianapolis 500. And our people said would not make the field. She is a talented race car driver, but John also alluded to the most important thing she's done. She's been given a platform that when she retired, she didn't quit, she got better. and she has made a huge difference and continues to every day. And if there's anybody that deserves to be in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, it's Lynn St. James, and we're so excited to be here today.
Well, then I've got one more to see. So Doug mentioned partners that you brought into this sport. And as I was going through images from our Freeman collection to find you, I learned something today that I didn't know, but it's a small world. So Lynn in 1993 raced with a sponsorship with JCPenney and Nike. And John, if you hold that one up.
Is this the one out of Doug's archive? Pretty
And,
close.
and when I saw these images, the smallest of worlds is that the current CEO of Nike, Elliott Hill, is one of my oldest friends. He actually worked on this program in 1993 to bring Nike and JCPenney to your race team, and he sends his regards today.
So let's stand up and get a photo.
Yeah, let's, photographers here, we can get a quick photo and the photos, yeah, exactly.
Lynn's in it twice. What figure is that?
This one here.
What profession?
Lift it up.
Right there, Lynn. Right out here, please.
Yes, please.
Good. Time for a couple more. Everybody good? Terrific. All right. Well, no, you're sitting back down. I'm not done with you yet here. Surprise, then. Any thoughts? Any emotions here? What do you want to share?
I've had so much time to think about it. I'm overwhelmed. First of all, Phil Knight said there will never be a Nike swoosh on a race car. So maybe this president guy was there, or this guy, you know, because, and I was like, you wait. I was so proud of that Nike swoosh on my car. I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I know you guys love me, and you know, I remember when I got on the podium in the mini race, I was freaking out because I was yelling at it. I mean, I'm overwhelmed because this means you guys, I'm now really part of the family, you know? I mean, I've always felt it, and I'm never worried about it, but at the same time, I've never felt this was where I should be because I've not won championships. I'm not Scott Pruitt. I'm not Tom Lloyd. I'm not Mario. I mean, those are the people that win championships and win races that are in the Hall of Fame. I worked really hard and I tried and did everything I could, and I just love the sport so much. So this is like the most extraordinary thing that I've ever happened. I mean, I've had some amazing, John, when he introduced me for the Automotive Hall of Fame, you know, because I know all those years I worked with Ford and trying to get women to take care of their cars and you know, so the Automotive Hall of Fame, that was off the wall. But this is me, this is my sport, this is my family. And now, you know, part of the family, I can't thank you enough. I wish I could be eloquent, but right now, I can't. I'm so emotional. I can't believe it. Is this gonna happen again? Do I get to come back in March?
I think Darren's gonna invite you back.
It's like, is this his end? I should, you know, finally get, okay, thank you.
No, we get to do this again in March.
I can get my brain organized because I'm so emotional. I'm honored to death. This is like the most extraordinary thing that every racer that's in it knows that. You know, that whether you're airplane or, I mean, it's just the best. It's extraordinary. So,
And Allison feels badly because she didn't tell you the truth. We had a whole team here that's been working behind the scenes, so you had no idea. So
no, I didn't. It was like I was supposed to give you a hug at 10 o'clock. You were eating tacos or something.
I know we can talk about Gary and Rob as well, but the thing about Lynn is that not only a great racer, but a real ambassador even now in motorsports. And maybe, I don't know, Doug and Johnny will talk about that in respective, classes, but I mean, we love to see you everywhere we go, and never, it's also when you don't show up at a race, or where's Lynn? But just the way that she continues to promote the sport, women in motorsports as well, it's second to none.
Well, there are times, sorry, that I know you guys weren't always happy to see me, because I was always either asking for money for, driver development program, or to give, and then Women in Motorsports North America. I know I got to a point where I closed my foundation, my driver development, because they knew that they liked me, but it was like, oh God, she wants something, and I took a break of that for a while. And I have to thank all of you, because Women in Motorsports North America wouldn't happen without the allies that we have. I mean, it's not a women's organization, it's an organization to grow the sport. Lisa Fogg sitting here, who's one of our founding board members. Allison Langdon is one of our, we have Cindy Sisson, who's running, Jacob from Bosch. I mean, and Alan, I can't see you with the lights on there, I'm sorry, yeah. But anyway, it's just, it's the whole it's the whole community of motorsports that has made Women in Motorsports happen, North America happen. So, and now I know that you still, you don't say, oh my God, here she comes, it's like, oh, here she comes, and how can we help you, because it isn't just about giving money, I mean, it's about supporting programs and using our brains to be able to make the sport grow, and it's growing, but we gotta keep doing it, We can't rest on any of our world, and that's what I love about the sport. We never rest on our worlds. It's like, how can we get acetate things and grow, Roger, hi. Roger Bailey.
Roger Bailey.
John Bishop warned me about your long years ago.
Oh, I know, John, John and Pinky, I think of them so many times. Okay,
I don't think we can top that.
I was gonna say,
I would stay right there.
All right, hang tight, Lynn. John, you talk about Rob a little bit. He couldn't be here because of other business commitments, and I think it's the first time he's in this Long Beach in decades. But we'll talk about Rob Dyson a little bit.
Well, the whole class, congratulations, Darren, and the whole selection committee, because I go down that list, and I'm a Chicago boy, and Gary Bettenhausen and the Bettenhausen family. There's still a Bettenhausen Dodge in Tinley Park, Illinois. So there's a lot of passion for that. You mentioned Rob, certainly another hero that I watched when I was sitting on the hill at Road America or Brainerd or Mid Ohio. Those drivers and like Lynn were my boyhood heroes. And so to be able to be part of announcing, a class that involves Rob Dyson, worked with the Dyson family 2009 to 2013 when I was at Mazda, and they were like a Bob Aiken, they were the independent team. They weren't necessarily the factory effort. They ended up aligning with factories, but they were the independent team. Rob didn't do it full time. He was, that was his passion, and I think there's no question that the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America is built on passion, no matter what the discipline. And you know what happens at the Motorsports Hall of Fame inductions, if you haven't been, and thanks to my dear friend Dean Case, I got introduced to it many years ago. When you show up, the motorcycle guys and gals think the folks that race cars are lunatics. The airplane folks think the guys, but the airplane and the boat racers, Tom D, they think the race car drivers are nuts. And so they're the stories that come out of the time that we're all together as a sport, no matter what discipline, no matter what type of focus, the language is the same, and that's passion. Passion for speed, passion for horsepower, and performance. And so that's what makes it really special. So I'm really thrilled to be part of it. I was on the board for a while. I was chaired the board when we moved it to Daytona, and just thrilled to be part of this. And congrats again, Fred.
Thank you. You were saying you were 13.
Oh, yeah.
You were young.
Lynn won her first IMSA race. Yeah. I still had a minor hard card.
Doug, for you, John's talking about passion. No one has more passion than Bettenhausen's at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Harry Hart's as well.
Yeah, so Harry was maybe lesser known, obviously, but the second place finishes at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Pretty remarkable if you look at his record at the Speedway. Never won it, but led 57 laps, I think, over his 6 races there. But then his automotive career on the backside, the things he did with Chrysler, the things he did from the automotive industry, is really cool that he's actually getting inducted. You know, Gary Bettenhausen, cool thing we were talking about, Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. Now you've got Gary Bettenhausen with his dad, Tony Sr., in the Hall of Fame the same year for them. That's exciting. I got a chance on Tuesday night down at Ray Skillman's Museum on the south side of Indianapolis to have Gary's 2 twins, Todd and Carrie, and Gary's sister, Sue, to come by. No idea why they were coming either, Lynn, and tell them that their father and brother was going to get inducted in the Motorsports Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, Merle, one of Gary's other brothers, I called him to let him know we were going to have this event. He didn't know why. Unfortunately, he had a stroke and he's struggling in the hospital in Indianapolis, so appreciate prayers for Merle. But the Bettenhausen family means so much to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and motorsports in general, and Gary certainly belongs in there. Lynn knows he could drive just about anything. He was fearless. Well, kind of like Ari Leyendijk, who has our track record but didn't sit on the pole because he qualified on a non-pole day. Gary was our fastest qualifier in 1991 at 224 miles an hour and led 138 laps of the 1972 Indy 500. But for an engine issue, he probably is the winner of that race and not Mark Donahue. Who knows what would have happened to his career had that been the case. But really excited to have both of them in the Motorsports Hall of Fame, both really deserving.
We've got a couple moments at a microphone. If there are any questions for anyone that is up here before we wrap up, and there'll be an opportunity for one-on-ones too, if anyone